Adade Kwakubuafo is here in the studios as well. Adade, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Ata. Good evening, fellow panel members and all listeners, for usually taking time out to listen to the political and social commentary that Community Watch brings you. Well, on the issue of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, whether he was a savior or a demagogue is subjective, because as a matter of fact, basic knowledge and history tells us this man was a Pan-Africanist, somebody who had a belief, an ideology that wherever the black man has been, being it America, Asia, West Indies, his experience has virtually been the same: discrimination, spiritual violence, moral infirmity caused by non-Africans and justified by an elaborate set of false ideological arguments that alleges savagery and moral infirmity. You see, we have this belief as Ghanaians. Most Ghanaians do have the belief that even the ideology of socialism was placed or invented by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. When we say somebody is an Nkrumahist, then we're trying to say, in Ghanaian terms, that he is purely, socialist inclined. You see, I believe that most Ghanaians have raised Nkrumah to a level that makes him look so clean, regardless of the numerous pitfalls he actually orchestrated during his regime. We always sing the praise songs of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, but I'd like to say that honestly, he is a great man indeed, because the perfection or excellent is just a concept, but in reality, it is not in place. He did a marvelous job, when it comes to the spearheading of independence. Even though the British were about to leave, precedents were laid by our ancestors. And I'm on the floor. Come on, I didn't intervene when you were talking. We're tackling issues dispassionately here, my brother. As I'm saying, you see, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, all right, was a great writer, orator, and he even influenced somebody like what do you call it? What was the name? The civil rights movement head in America. Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, okay.
No, what I'm saying is, listen, I can tell you. You see,
was inspired by Martin Luther.
When Martin Luther King came to Ghana for the Independence Day celebration, he clearly stated that if Africans are now free in Africa, then why can't Africans in the diaspora be free? What I'm trying to say is, Nkrumah did a great deal of job when it comes to creating awareness of equality of the African as against any race in the world. He pushed that ideology, right? He was a savior in that sense. He captured the attention of the international community on the relevance of Africans being independent. And that is how come, at a point in time, he, together with Secretary and Modibo Keita of Guinea and Mali respectively, decided on an agreement to spearhead the unification process of Africa. But it didn't go on well. He held so many conferences in Tunisia, Guinea, Egypt, Liberia, which were then the only independent states in Africa. And it did go on well. It raised that consciousness, and that is how come after the the independence of Ghana, so many African countries, Botswana, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe, were motivated by this experience of Kwame Nkrumah and decided to proceed on independence now, not later on. he did a good job, but that is the savior side. But when we're talking about demagoguery now, he incited the passions of people. But when the duty or the responsibility of the head of state was given to him, what did he do? Well, people will say, fanatics of Kwame Nkrumah will say he did a great deal of job. The infrastructure across the board, down the numerous schools and everything. But we can tell you, as a matter of fact, that Kwame Nkrumah was forever grateful to the Europeans, the British, because he came to meet loads. He didn't have the experience of Dr. Bouzier, Liman, Rawlings, Kufuor and Mills administration, whereby these subsequent head of states had to seek funds, right, to steer the affairs of this country. He came to meet lots, 200 million pounds sterling. At that time, it was magic. What can you do with that amount? And history tells us that the largest chunk of corruption ever in this country was done under his regime. Krobo Aduse and his the colleagues. They listen. I'm on the floor. I didn't intervene. You can react when you have the chance to. I'm on the floor. As a matter of fact, that is the whole point. We have to disabuse our minds that Nkrumah did a great deal of job. Well, he came to meet lots of money, and he could have done 10 times what he did, rather than you see what made Dr. Kwame Nkrumah spearhead the affairs or the independence process of Ghana was his selfish pursuit, but of course it coincided with the aspirations of all Ghanaians that we don't want to be ruled by the colonialists. So we have to give him all our support. You know what I'm talking about. You see, a whole lot of how do you call it? Old guys and old fellows who could really tell us what happened under Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's regime are not to be found. They're all dead. His young pioneers, the numerous murder committed, media censorship was seized.
Less than a minute.
I'm on the floor.
Less than a minute, yeah.
All right. I'm bridging it. But what I'm trying to say is, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in as much as we sing his praise songs, we have to be fair enough to history by telling the entire citizenry, the youth especially, of the atrocities he caused. And oh my gosh, don't you know that Obesebi Lamte was was killed alive? He was actually dug and put on the earth.
He died in prison.
What are you talking about? This is the reality we're talking about. This is not counterfeit truth. You see?
If you could wrap up, yeah.
Listen, no. Listen. Listen.
What are you talking about?
Listen.
Who incarcerated them?
Listen. But that is
not
reality
a
on the ground. You see? And listen, that is how come I, for instance, feel that the only justifiable coup in this country was that of 1966.
Thank you very much. It means you side with Dr. Arthur Kennedy, but